right, looks like it's 7 o'clock. Welcome to everyone. This is certainly a different way to have a council meeting, and we'll get used to it. I hope for not too long. Hopefully we're back where we can see each other and talk with each other in person. With that, Jay, would you give us a roll call, please, for the Airport Authority?
Stephanie Lambert. Stephanie here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Bill Wantland,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
John Kramer,
Here.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum for the Airport Authority.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With no items removed from the consent agenda, we'll move on to election or appointment of officers. Our newly elected authority council member, Trace Connor, Ward 4, and re-elected authority council member, Larry Church, Ward 1, John Kramer, Ward 2, and Corey Crabtree, Ward 3, will be administered the oath of office by the city attorney, Brad Carter.
Okay, so what I need for each of you to can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the oath, and then we're going to do a little bit different. I'll read the oath, and then I'll just go down your names, and if you would just respond with "I will," that ought to do it. Do each of you solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute the office of Seminole City Council member, as well as authority member for the following: the Seminole Utilities Authority, Seminole Gas Authority, Seminole Airport Authority, and to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma, and the Charter of the City of Seminole, Oklahoma? Larry Church.
I do, yes.
John Kramer.
I will.
Thank you. Corey Crabtree.
I will.
And Trace Connor.
I will.
Okay. Thank you very much. You guys are officially sworn in, and we'll be able to carry on business for all the authorities in the city council for tonight's meeting. And I know some of you have already been sworn in prior to this, so this is more of a formality that we normally do. So, Mr. Mayor, it's all yours.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you. Do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience? This is a little different because we had asked if someone wanted to speak or address us, that then they could sign up to do so. And Sean or Bree will be looking, and when it's ready for them to come into the meeting that they were requested, they'll let them come on and ask their question. So do we have anyone for the Airport Authority?
I've not shown anybody on our end here.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to current business. Item 1, consideration and possible action to approve task order number 3, professional services agreement with Delta Airport Consultants, Inc. for engineering services related to construction of a North Hangar Taxiway and Apron at Seminole Municipal Airport in the amount of $125,000, for which the city is responsible for 5% for $6,250. Steve, would you want to talk a little bit? Steve, would you want to talk a little bit about that?
So the first thing I would say is there's a high probability that we're going to be able to get the match requirement waived on this due to the CARES Act. I think there's going to be a pretty good batch of money that comes through. So we're hopeful that we're going to end up with none of the above on the match dollars. So Sharon, do you want to talk at all about, you're going to have to take your mute off, I think.
How's that?
Better.
What Steve is saying is exactly what I've heard, that the CARES Act is going to provide enough funds for this to be 100% funded. However, we still need to go through the motions of approving it in this fiscal year, even though the invoices will not be coming until July 1 or after.
Okay, thank you. I do have a motion on the table. Bill Waltman, I believe, made the motion.
Second.
All right, roll call, please, Jay.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Bill Waltland,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 2, consideration and possible action to approve the request for an independent fee estimate from Delta Airport Consultants, Inc. for the upcoming North Hangar Taxiway and Apron project at Seminole Municipal Airport in an amount not to exceed $4,000 to be fully reimbursed through grant proceeds from the Federal Aviation Administration. And this is also tied to the future plan of the airport and what the FAA has planned to extend and widen the taxiway.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Waltland,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 3, consideration and possible action to approve Task Force Order Number 4, Professional Services Agreement with Delta Airport Consultants, Inc. for engineering services related to installation of LED runway lighting at Seminole Municipal Airport in the amount of $65,000, for which the city is responsible for 5% or $3,250. It is also, I don't know if you heard,
Is there any discussion on that, Mayor?
well, it's Steve's welcome to, or Sharon is welcome to comment. It's, again, part of the same project. They break it all out, but it's part of it widening the taxiway for the airport. It's just kind of getting everything in place. Now this may be actually a different one because we do have had some problems with our lighting, but Sharon, would you verify which one we're doing?
This task order 4 is actually for new runway lighting, LED lighting, runway end lights, signage. This is to get ready for the new taxiway that is coming.
I move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Bill Waltland,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, with none, we'll move on to the Seminole Gas Authority. Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
Bill Wantland,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Lambert,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With no items removed from the consent agenda, do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Seminole Gas Authority? I guess with Sean not telling us we do, then we don't.
Sorry, I'm
With that,
looking at the roofs right
Okay.
now. I don't see anybody.
all right. Did you say you don't see anybody?
No, sir, I'm not seeing anybody.
Okay. All right. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So
So
moved.
moved. Yeah.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, with none, we'll move on to the Seminole Utilities Authority. Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Bill Wantland,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Stephanie Lambert,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum for the Utilities Authority.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With no items removed from the consent agenda, do we have any appearances or petition for the Utilities Authority?
No, we do not.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to current business. Item 1, consideration and possible action to approve work order number SEM-20-02, elevated water storage tank to Wall Engineering LLC, an amount not to exceed $41,640.
Yes. So we have received our report back on our inspections that were done for our water towers. We've got 2 that need significant work done. So we're going to ask that you guys allow us to hire an engineering firm to look at the problem and get the construction plans ready to go out to bid.
Mayor, I have a question for Manager Saxon.
Go right ahead.
Is that a budgeted item?
No, the engineering is not a budgeted item, but it would come out of the 2006 bond money for public works.
Got you. Thank you.
So this is not a repair, it's an estimate or something, or what?
Well, I suspect that it's going to be a new construction of a new water tower, but I'm not positive on that until we get the engineering coming back.
Okay. Well, I'll move to approve. There's no more discussion.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
yes,
Larry Church,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 2, consideration and possible action to approve work order number SEM-20-02, wastewater treatment plant preliminary engineering to Wall Engineering LLC in the amount of $69,584.
Mayor, I'm going to let Bryant speak on some of this. Bryant, go ahead and take your mute off. We've been nursing our sewer plant for about 3 decades now, just trying to get it to last just a few more years. And I think we're to the point where we're going to have to significantly have some improvements done to it. Probably very expensive, but we really don't know how to quantify that until the engineering's done. Baker, would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, as City Manager Saxon said, we've got major repairs that are getting ready to take place. So we wanted to kind of take a chance and look at what our repairs are going to be versus long-term making a fix that's going to last us for the next 50, 60 years. And look at the future of how the city of Seminole is going to grow and produce this plant to where it's not an issue when 60 years down the road. We are having significant issues right now that are going to cost us a significant amount of money. So talking to City Manager Saxon, this was one of the things that we want to kind of explore, and whether I'd asked him to explore with the council to see where we were as far as our fixes or corrections at the current plant compared to where we need to be for the future.
So
Does that kind of help, Steve?
yes. So let me wrap it up by saying we expect not just the first stimulus package, the CARES Act, but all indications are that we're going to end up with a second stimulus package that is more concentrated in capital improvements and infrastructure. So we want to have as many projects as we can that are pre-engineered. Quite often, and experience tells us that often they want that money on the ground now. They want it to impact the jobs and the companies and the employees now. They're not willing to wait several months or a year to have something engineered and have it ready to go. So our strategy is to go ahead and have our capital improvements things engineered with construction plans and any pertinent DEQ permits already assigned so that we can pull it straight off the shelf and hand it to them and say, we can go out for bid and be ready to do construction in 30 days. So that's a lot of what you're seeing. This is not a budgeted item, but we felt like it was a good expenditure to be prepared in the case that we can avoid passing on to our taxpayers, that we could get federal assistance to help construct some of these necessary improvements.
And Steve, this is also something that has happened in the past. We've had projects ready to go. And when there was some money available, we were selected because we had projects that were, like you said, pull off the shelf and proceed.
That's exactly right. We have an excellent staff, is prepared. There have been several occasions. One that comes to mind is the water tower out in the industrial that serves part of town. We had pre-engineered. We really did not have a way to pay for it, but it was all engineered and ready to construct. And so when some of the stimulus money came through in 2008, we were able, they called us on the phone and said, do you have anything ready to go? We've got to spend this money or we're going to spend the East Coast. We've got a project that's engineered now, and we were able to get a water tower at no expense to the Seminole payers.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. It looks like Steph Lambert may have dropped out. Give me just a second.
Okay. All right. So we will hold right here until they get her back on the line.
She can't drive that far away.
Went to Wetumpka.
I warned her. Hey, Steve, that's great planning on you guys' part. You know, getting this stuff ready to be the first one to submit. Kudos to you and your staff on that deal.
Thank you.
Yes, it's nice to have an experienced team. You get through with that, come to my house and see what I do with my problems. So what are we gonna do if Stephanie can't be recovered?
Well, if she can't be recovered, then after about 30 minutes, and we'll have to postpone the meeting.
I guess I should have fixed dinner before they started.
Looks like she went into a dead spot or something. I can't get her by phone, but she just texted. She's going to try to join us here in just a minute. She's trying to get somewhere where she's got signal. So I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, she's worth the wait. So. Or wait just a little longer about having my nails trimmed. I kind of like this meeting from home stuff. It's pretty nice.
We don't need details, Larry. Thanks.
No.
Oh, you don't?
Do we need to look away when we do the Pledge of Allegiance here in a little bit?
Are we going to do that? Like when I was in the Army, we just looked that direction.
Wait, is Stephanie
in the morning?
with Stephanie in this? Is that we don't have enough to vote without her?
I think just rejoined.
Looks like there's something coming up there.
We have a
Someone's coming
quorum.
on. She's back.
She's
All
back.
right.
I'm here.
Okay, you guys might have to just park somewhere.
Yeah, we are.
On top of a hill.
We are on top of a hill, but I just don't want people to shoot at us where we are.
Okay.
We're out by Varnum.
Oh, the
All
people,
right. So
someone out there doesn't like you or what?
Oh, no, I'm just afraid that, when you park out somewhere in the country, they kind of don't like it too much.
all right, we'll start the meeting back. We were having discussions about the engineering of the wastewater treatment plant, and was there any more discussion that is required?
I don't have anything else.
I'm good.
Same here.
Okay, so we entertain a motion.
I move that we accept
Second.
or approve.
Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes. Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 3, consideration and possible action to approve the mutual aid agreement for Sooner Warren and Intrastate Water and Wastewater Utilities Mutual Aid Program to coordinate response activities and share resources during emergencies. So Bryant, would you want to tell us a little bit about this?
All right. So in the crisis of the virus that we have going on currently, DEQ has suggested that we become a part of Sooner Warren. What Sooner Warren is, if our staff completely gets tied down with the virus and we are unable to take care of our wastewater sewer plant or our water treatment system, it's a mutual aid agreement, just like in the fire service. These individuals will come in, they will send people to take care of our wastewater treatment plant or water plant until we can get our own staff healed and back into the game, basically.
Sounds
If
good.
we have something as far as a tornado that comes through, and we have mass disaster at one of our plants, they will send people in to assist us to get back up and running as quickly as possible. It's not a charge, it's a free service. Just puts us on the list, basically.
Sounds great.
And it works. And it works the other way as well. If someone else has a problem, we may send some of our employees to help them.
Yes, Mayor. And as we've done in the past, we've sent some of our staff, both water department and wastewater, to Moore, Norman, whenever the tornadoes came through.
Thank you. I believe we had a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Hey, this is Brad. Hey, I just wanted to point out, this is probably more something for Baker and Jay. I noticed in that agreement that to be a part of this network, that our insurance has to be able to cover any employee that comes in as a part of an aid package. And it's specific in the agreement that it just says that as a condition of this, that we would have to maintain an insurance policy or be self-insured that covers all activities by virtue of the membership in it. And also, it looks like that we have to be able to provide workers' comp coverage on anybody that came in to the city and work under this package. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So we probably need to follow up on that.
Okay, so speaking with Sooner Warren, that would only apply to individuals that had already been retired. If we have individuals that are retired that are living in our area or have retired from another agency that wanted to come in, basically it's the same as if we send our individuals from the fire department to Moore for the tornado. We're only going to be requesting individuals that are working for a city entity in that junction.
So in other words, that city's coverage would cover them while they were working in our municipality.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. That's all right. Good point. I'm glad that was cleared up. It made me nervous.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for noticing it, Mr. Attorney.
So I believe we had a motion. Who made the motion?
I did.
No, but I'll make it that we accept or approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Grace Connor, Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Popland,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 4, consideration and possible action to approve work order number SEM-20-01, 2020 CDBG sewer rehabilitation to Wall Engineering LLC in the amount of, I need my glasses. Looks like $82,000, $82,472.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so work that we've preparing for quite some time. This deals directly with the consent order that we've got from DEQ. And we're ready to go for another round of CDBG, which is the Community Development Block Grant that helps pay for some of these projects. So we're ready to get it neared and get it up and going.
Are there any questions?
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer,
Yes.
Grace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
Tim Popland,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Those opposed? All right, with that, we will move on to the regular meeting of the Seminole City Council. Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Grace Connor,
Here.
Stephanie Lambert,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here.
Tim Popland,
Here.
Bill Watland,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
John Kramer,
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One
nation, under
under
God,
God.
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all. Bill, would you lead our prayer, please?
Shabajazi, Mado moment po Talofa Seminole moment po este amalgan. Isaio Satat now Thaichi Kaputaka po este amalgan pochasi. O Lord, we thank you for the city of Seminole and for our people. Save us from the coronavirus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bill. While the Pledge of Allegiance was a little painful for us doing that, I think we need to keep the same routine. That's something we do. It shouldn't be any different, I don't think, if we're not able to meet there. And so, you know, I requested it stay in. I believe it's very important for us to be able to continue to do that. We also changed up the order just a little bit, where we moved our remarks and inquiries of mayor and council members. That way, when we move on down and we have others come in and join, if they have any questions, That way we've at least already talked about a few things that may address maybe some of the questions they might have. With that, I have actually 2 pages of things I want to talk about, but it'll go pretty quick. So first, I would like to welcome Trace Connor as our newest member. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Trace is representing Ward 4, which, as you know, was formerly held by Dee Dee Patterson. So glad to have you with us. I'm sorry we can't meet in person, but hey, this is what you'll be used to now.
Absolutely, something to get used to.
All right, so I would like to take a moment and discuss a little bit about the COVID-19 situation. You know, I want to start by really talking about one of my friends that had the virus. He's pretty much recovered now, but unfortunately his wife wasn't so lucky and she passed away. You know, when I was talking to him, I asked him if there was something that, you know, he'd like for me to tell our citizens. And, you know, he basically said that it was the toughest thing he had ever had to battle health-wise. He said he couldn't even talk without being out of breath. And, you know, I saw a statistic. Now, you know, there's statistics all over the place. But what I saw was once you go on a ventilator, you only have about 20% chance of survival. And, you know, that's sometimes we need those shocking numbers to wake us up and let us know how serious this is. And I believe we need to keep talking about this and to keep it on the forefront because we can't afford to get lax with this and think, oh, well, the worst has passed, or I'm good, I don't need to wear protection. And a lot of our citizens are doing a great job. You know, as of today, Seminole County has 7 cases with 1 death. And as with all viruses, you can't see it and you don't even know if you have it until you start getting sick. And you may have it and feel fine and just be a carrier. So that's why we all need to act like we actually have the virus so we can protect others. You know, when we're out in public, we should wear a mask, use social distancing, and don't hug or shake hands with other individuals. You know, wearing a mask protects others, and it should be a reminder for us not to touch our face when we're wearing a mask. I know it's easy to reach up and, you know, rub our eyes or touch our nose, but for me, that's a good reminder to not be doing those things because I do need a reminder. You know, only go out when it's needed, and really only one member of the family. I saw a family of 5 going in Walmart the other day with no mask, no gloves, nothing, you know, and it's just heartbreaking in the fact that they may all come down with it. It's something that we need to take serious. In fact, you know, we want everyone to do their part in trying to protect others. But, you know, it's gone so far as some of the governors are calling for, I'm going to name a few things off that some governors are calling for police to go through church parking lots and write down the license plate numbers for any of the attendees, ticket anyone who attends a church drive-in despite the attendees staying in their cars with the windows up the entire time. Homeowners of the Outer Banks near North Carolina had to file a lawsuit after officials blocked them from accessing their vacation homes. They've required that you have to have a North Carolina driver's license to be able to get to their homes. They are their vacation homes, but they're not letting them in unless they're a permanent resident there. Rhode Island was sending police door to door to enforce quarantine on any New Yorkers that are staying there. Florida and New Jersey announced that they would use drones to locate and break up any gatherings in violation of social distancing mandates. Michigan now prohibits all public and private gatherings of any size. That's even at your home. You know, some of these are a pretty big stretch, I think. You know, so the more we can do as citizens, the less the government needs to prohibit or require us to do. So, you know, that's why we need to be responsible as citizens and do what we can do to keep passing the virus on. You know, at this point, I don't have any plans to add any other restrictions. However, if our infected numbers continue to rise, then that will obviously have to be revisited and see what we can do to help in reducing it. You know, I hate putting things in place, but you know, if we need it to protect others, then we need it, and I won't hesitate to do that. So now I'd like to talk about something positive. I think you guys may have noticed, but the Chamber of Commerce has developed a bingo game, and it's in honor to support our local businesses. You know, it allows those that are going to play to possibly win a prize from visiting the restaurants and other food chains that you could get a takeout meal from. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can call the chamber at 382-3640. You can visit their Facebook page, or you can go by their mailbox outside their office and pick up a bingo card. So go out and support our local businesses. So another topic is severe weather. And we know at this time of the year, we can have severe weather at any time. So this is a message from, part of a message from the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management and the National Weather Service. The need to practice social distancing and prevent the spread of COVID-19 brings added complications to taking shelter from severe weather. However, state and federal officials agree that your top priority should be to protect yourself from a potential tornado. If your family typically takes refuge in a public storm shelter in your community, first check with your community shelter managers to ensure the shelter will still be open, and if there are any special considerations to plan for due to the COVID-19. So now's the time to go explore your best options to keep you safe if there's a tornado. Don't wait until a tornado warning is issued. So one of the things we're going to go to the rest of the council members, but I want to throw this question out to our city manager so he'll be prepared to be able to answer this question when it's time for him to speak later on. You know, we know this COVID-19 has affected our businesses. We know that we'll make assumptions that our tax revenue will be down. And so I'm asking Steve if he could provide us with maybe expectations of what we might see for our revenue streams that we have. And with that, we will move on to Ward 1 and Bill Wantland.
Well, let me just echo what you have just said, Mr. Mayor. I think it's all very important for us to keep in mind that we are dealing with a crisis that the last time we saw something like that was before any of us were born. And that was the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918-1919, which was actually more terrible than this. But what we need to keep in mind, I think, more than anything else, is not only the health hazard, but the economic hazard. This has the potential of actually destroying our economy. So we need to be looking at that, and in that regard, to continue praying.
Thank you, Bill. Larry Church.
Well, I agree with what you said about the coronavirus. It's a serious thing. And Bill pointing out that the economic strain that we can expect and know we're going to have hits the poor folks hardest, especially those who in single parent households, you know, if they can't go to work. We need to figure out ways that we can help those people and get our food bank and all of that stuff, keep it operating for the people that need the help. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Ward 2, Stephanie Lambert.
I don't really have much to say other than the same thing that you said about staying safe. One of the things, like to echo what Mr. Church said, was to help people out and to, when we're going to restaurants and we're dining in, just remember that they're not getting tipped like people are getting tipped, or like they would be getting tipped if the restaurant was full or if they had regular dining service, and to be considerate of those people and to, especially places like Roma's and places like that, you know, to tip extra, a little bit more than you normally would. And also those workers that you don't see working that you would normally see working, just be considerate and check on them as well to make sure that, you know, they're surviving at that, or they don't have any immediate needs as well. We did run across a couple of families that haven't had, you know, that were getting really low on their food, and they hadn't had any access to any immediate assistance because of just paperwork and stuff. So, and they had several kids. So we were, you know, so those are some things that we do need to be mindful to as our neighbors, and just kind of, you know, even if it's just picking up the phone and checking on them, we may not be able to, you know, of course, if you go visit them, be sure and wear your mask and gloves as well, to check on, you know, if you're going to physically check on them, but also too, just pick up the phone and check on people, because we've kind of lost that with Facebook and those type of things. We don't check on each other unless they're on Facebook or we see them every day, you know, popping up in our feeds. Kind of got to get back to the old fashioned way of checking up on people and visiting people, to make sure that they're okay. But that's it.
Thank you, Stephanie. Ward 2, John Kramer.
I have nothing. Just everybody be safe.
Thank you. Ward 3, Corey Crabtree.
Same here. We've been helping some people out as well. I have quite a few apartments that I look over, and we had some people that really needed some help, and we actually bought groceries with them and took them to their houses to help them out. So I agree with everyone else. Help people out if you can. And then also welcome to Mr. Trace Connor. That's all.
Thank you, Corey. Ward 3, Tim Poplin.
It's all pretty much been said. In the ward that I live in, and I'm sure they're all the same, what I've kind of been concentrating on is the elderly folks. You know, Walmart has pick up groceries and all that, but it's all got to be done pretty much, you know, with a smartphone, or they call in and the line's busy. So I suggest that people look around their neighborhoods, and if there's some elderly folks, you know, a trip to the grocery store can make a big difference for them. They're scared to get out because, you know, if you're over 60 years old, you hear about, you know, the death rate really climbs. So that's kind of where I'm focusing my side on in Ward 3, to remember where the elderly are, and kind of drive around and just knock on the doors or honk the horn, and they'll open the door and stay in your truck and holler at them. And sometimes they say, I'm okay, or sometimes, man, thanks. But anyway, that's just kind of my deal. And that's about all I've got to say. Trace, welcome aboard. I think you're going to be a great member. If you're not, then we'll have a conversation. Appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Ward 4, Chris Anson.
Just welcome, Trace, and I really don't have much to add to what's already been said. You know, just gonna keep pushing forward.
Thank you. Ward 4, Trace Connor. All right, let's hear it. You have about a 5-minute speech ready, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I got some big shoes to fill, and I got small feet, so it's going to be a little tough getting started here. You know, coming on to the city council here, and hope y'all built a surplus up here, so I won't have to do too much fat cutting or stuff. But anyway, looking forward to it. And like I say, everybody be safe, and check on your neighbors, check on your family if you can. We've taught both my mother and mother-in-law how to use the FaceTime, and it's been a blessing for them, just to call and check in on them and do that kind of thing. They're not real tech savvy, so I know they can do it. They're both in their 80s, so it can be done. And both my mother and mother-in-law both have sarcoid of the lungs, so it's a very serious condition, in spite of having this COVID virus going around. It would really affect them in a severe way. So we've been giving them food and trying to keep just the peace among the family here. Got a new internet today, and as soon as the guy left, it went back to not very good. So when I came back, I was thinking I was going to have this great speed, and it kind of went away. But I think after I unplugged it, plugged it back in, everything started working better. So maybe we just need to unplug, turn the switch off, turn it back on, and get it all started again. I can't wait for everybody to get back to work and see this economy that we've passed up, or it's kind of faded on us a little bit, ready to restart it and see what we can get done. Appreciate all y'all welcome me on board and looking forward to it. Thank you much.
Thank you, Trace. All right, with that, we'll move on to consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Trace Connor, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, with no items removed from the consent agenda, we'll move on to, are there any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Seminole City Council meeting?
Don't have any updates on that. I don't show anybody new.
Would you mind repeating that? I didn't quite catch that.
Okay. I don't have anybody new in the room here. We're good.
Okay. Okay. All right, with none, we'll move on to public hearing. Public hearing to enable comments on the possible improvements to water and sewer systems in the area of Bourne Boulevard, Strother Avenue, and to provide a clear explanation of the probable impacts on the community and residents should the project be funded via a community development block grant from the Oklahoma Department of Commerce.
Sharon Emmett.
Yes, I'm here. So this is for a community development block grant for wastewater construction. There are some areas that DEQ has requested that we fix as far as some sewer issues in those areas around Van Drive, Smith Street, and Ideal. And what would happen is we would apply for the grant, and it would be matched 50-50 with what we would provide. The entire project is $650,000, which means that the grant would pay $325,000. The area that we are requesting money for must be an area that is low or moderate income, which it is by over 74%. So we have all of the markers for a good solid grant to get our wastewater construction, our manholes and some of our sewer lines fixed in those areas.
All right. Thank you.
Is this some of the areas where we've been having chronic problems?
Yes, sir, it is. This is at least 2 of the manholes that have been giving us chronic problems.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, this is Tim. May I tell you a little bit that I know about this?
Of course.
This area is in our ward. And I've talked to a lot of the people that has the effects of it. And it's something that really needs to be done, and when the DEQ gets involved, really puts an exclamation mark on what we need to do. So I'm all behind this, and it's been an ongoing problem for quite a time. So that's my 2 cents worth, but thank you, Sharon, for sharing that and getting the help that we need to help pay for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we know that we're pretty limited, but it really needs to be done. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from council members? Do we have any questions or comments from the public?
Nothing on our end for that.
All right, thank you. With that, we will close the public hearing and move on to approvals and acceptances. Resolutions. Item 1, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-04, a resolution affirming the City of Seminole's commitment to the Department of Commerce's Community Development Block Grant funding.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 2, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-05, a resolution adopting a citizen participation plan for the CDBG application and accepting responsibility for implementing its provisions.
I'm not sure what that means, but adopting citizen participation plan.
Well, one of the things, and Sharon can certainly interrupt me if she wants to, but one of the things for this grant is we require, or they require, citizens participation plan. So I believe you have to identify if it's a lower income area, how many you'll be affecting with these changes. And Sharon, please add anything else.
Yes, and the citizen participation plan is basically what we just did, make sure that we have our public meetings, let the public know in any way we can what the project is and how we plan on going about it.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I move
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Current business, item 3, discussion and update regarding construction of the proposed roundabout at the intersection of Bourne Boulevard and Strother Avenue.
Okay, so we are ready to go roundabout, and we had our pre-construction. And previously, you got
Bless you.
us permission to go ahead and do the project. But in light of everything that's swirling right now, I wanted to bring it back before you and make sure as we're giving us the green light. I don't have any reason to believe that that's not a good investment. Certainly, we don't want to be looking 3 or 4 years from now at trying to repave the whole Bourne Boulevard Broadway project. So I believe that it's a good project. But I do want to go ahead and get your ultimate, well, I'd like for you to discuss it. The action's already been taken, but I would like to have any discussion that you might have.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Saxon.
Yes, sir.
The one you're talking about is on Strothers and Bourne, is that correct?
Correct.
And the one out east of town, that's not included, is that correct? That's questions that I've been asked. So I just gonna need an answer to pass it on.
It's not, it hasn't been discussed any further than what we discussed initially. This is really about the one at Strother and Bourne, and the other one will follow a little later.
You know, what I thought about driving through there is if people are coming from the east heading that direction, if there's plenty of warning that there's a roundabout straight ahead, surely they're going to be smart enough to turn around and not try to go through there. That's just kind of what came to me on the deal. But anyway, I'm good. I'll hush up. Go ahead.
Okay, that's all I had, Mayor. We don't need an action on that. I just wanted to be sure that you guys were not having an issue if you wanted to hold back. I'll remind you, the funding for this is going to be coming out of the 2006 bond money. That is bond money that the taxpayers earmarked for public works projects on this type. So it's not as if we can move this money into another section and pay employees or give raises or anything of that nature.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if we don't do it, we run the risk of that road deteriorating a lot quicker than what it should, and then we would be spending a lot more money down the road. I think, you know, I think it's still a good decision. How far?
No, so it's
Depends
not
on how
that
many.
far road either.
No, it's not that. No, that's true. That's true. Okay, any other discussion? All right, we'll move on to item 4. Consideration and possible action to approve street closures on Main Street, Evans Street, Timmons, and Mike Snyder to allow a Seminole High School graduation procession on the evening of Tuesday, May 19th, in lieu of a graduation ceremony for about 100 graduating seniors.
Mr. Mayor, the principal of the high school, Wade Rigney, is in the meeting, and I think he might have some more information to pass along to us on that.
Sounds good. Mr. Rigney, please tell us what you're thinking.
Well, I just want to, I appreciate you guys letting me tag along in your meeting tonight, and really I'm here just to answer any questions that you all might have. We've been working hard to try to honor our seniors, and it's quite a task. I want to let you all know that the mitigation of any kind of risk to our people in Seminole is of top priority. So we are planning vigorously to try to make this happen and do it in the right way, and keep in consideration, you know, all of our townspeople. We'll be meeting tomorrow again with Mr. Baker and Mr. Saxon in a Zoom meeting. Basically, our goal is to get as many heads as we can in this and make sure that we do it the right way. So if you all have any questions about what that plan is, I'm happy to share. If there's anything that you guys want to know, I'm here to answer questions.
I do have a question. Can you just kind of share a little bit about how you kind of see this going off? Will people be parked along the road? You think people will be coming out? I mean, what are your expectations, and what have you kind of discussed on your thoughts on it?
You know, first of all, anytime you gather 18-year-olds, they want to get out and be with each other. And so our plan is to make sure we communicate with them and have a family member or their mother or father park like we would on the parade route and not get out of their car. So we would have signs on the road, numbered signs where they knew exactly where to park. We would tell them to stay in their cars, and then we want to live stream a parade of our seniors like we would a football game. And so we have our crew is willing to do that. At the same time, we know that the families want to see their loved one graduate, and so it gives them an opportunity to park somewhere along that route. Initially, we thought we would do a parade down Main Street, but then we thought maybe not the best idea because we'll have people congregate there, and we don't want that to happen. So what we want to do is publish a parade route and allow people to maybe sit on their front porch or in their front yard and know that we're coming through. At the same time, the senior can decorate a sign. You know, they can kind of like you would a homecoming parade. That way, everybody knows who the graduate is. Gives them a chance to wave and see people that they love. And then we want that to end over on in front of the middle school, like our more traditional ceremonies would be, where they would receive a diploma.
How's social distancing going to work in the parade?
I didn't get the first part of that. Say that one more time.
Social distancing, how is that accounted for in the parade? The individuals in the parade.
Right. Our goal is for there not to be anybody on foot or anybody necessarily parked along Main Street. One of the things we would discuss tomorrow with Mr. Baker and Mr. Saxon would be when we're starting this to basically block off that Main Street area so people won't be tempted to park their cars and be right next to each other. But that's one reason we're here talking to you guys and listening to suggestions to make sure that we abide by those social distancing guidelines.
Well, I'm asking about the parade members, the students.
They're going to be
there. Yeah.
They're what?
In cars.
Oh, okay. I got it. All right.
That would be a very long jog.
I'm thinking.
Let me just.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I just, one thing, just as a footnote, that's on May the 19th. That's my baby sister's 80th birthday, and she graduated from Seminole High School, and I'm glad you're having a parade in her honor. I'll tell her that.
Yeah, we will. You guys can make a sign for her as well.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea, and you know, that's one nice thing about improvising. You know, in times like this, you guys has come up with a plan, and you know, kudos for that. And I'm all about it. You've got everything in line and in structure. If Mr. Saxon and Mr. Baker works out the details, man, I'm all about it. So thank you for your time and effort.
You bet.
Well, thank you guys. We've got a good team. We've got a good team at the city, and we have a good team at the high school as well. And so it's a group of people that I think have the best interest of our town and our students at heart.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. Thank you for joining us and sharing that goal.
Thank you.
I think it's a great way to honor our seniors too. And since, you know, there's not a whole lot we can do that's normal, you know, as long as we maintain that social distance and they stay in their cars and we can figure it out, I'm all for it. So I make the motion that we approve this.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Trace Connor. Sorry.
Trace is muted.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie Lambert,
As a 2020 mother, I say yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Watland,
Yeah, for my sister, yes.
Corey Crabtree,
Yes.
John Kramer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Tim, I
again,
can
thank
barely
you
see
for-
you.
Mr. Rigney, thank you for coming in and joining us again, letting us kind of see your vision and what you want to do for our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
We'll move on to reports. City Manager, Steve Saxon.
Okay, I've got a list here. Bear with me. I think all of this is pertinent, but I first want to say thank you to the mayor. Boy, this has been an extremely stressful time for all of us, but particularly with City Hall and trying to wade through the volumes of emails and information that are being passed to us from the federal government, local government. I want to say that our mayor has performed way above any expectations we could have had for him. Also want to thank Brad for being accessible just about 24/7. A lot of sleepless nights trying to get this right. And so far, thankfully, I think we have to a large degree. The health department, as I said, they've been doing a fantastic job. Mike Porter and Mark Childress have done.
Mike Potter.
Go ahead, Mayor.
No, Mike Potter.
Yeah, Mike Potter and Childress have done fantastic work. On the other end, man, I've always been proud of my staff, but what they have done most recently has been stellar. I don't know how else to describe it. They're fantastic in a clutch, and I'm super proud to have them. And they've done excellent work. Bree and Sean, getting out the communications, and fantastic. You know, I see a lot of praise nationally being heaped upon, justifiably, responders, but I want to give a shout out to guys that are down in our wastewater plant. One of the first things that came out of this, and we talked a while ago about having a plan to have people back them up. First things that came down the pike is that the virus exists in wastewater, and it survives and thrives, in fact. And so those men that are down there knowingly facing that hazard every day are still doing their work and doing it well. And they've gone into shift work now. And Bryant has done a great job in managing that. It's been really difficult to try to maneuver around some of the things that we had to, but man, it's all worked really well. And Mike out at the Wellness Center, they've done a lot of things that they didn't sign up to do. And I'm really proud of the way they've improvised. They are sanitation warriors. They've custom some nebulizers that can spray Lysol type products over the wide. They're going around to a lot of the city facilities, make sure that the staff that needs to come to work have a clean place to operate. So as well as running a few Meals on Wheels around to people in need, those guys really did a great job and continue to do so.
Hey, Steve, could I stop you for a second? Would everybody mute their mic? We're getting some feedback and he's cutting in and out. And that way we can cut off any background noise that might be kind of cutting him off.
I'll try to hold my mic up a little bit.
All right, thank you.
So most of you are aware that I've had Jay and Sharon working from home. That was a strategic move so that if LaDonna and I go down, that we've got Jay and Sharon that are capable of carrying forward the things that have to happen on a daily basis. So the fact that she sneezed a while ago has me really concerned that she may maybe not sheltering in place. So no. I think overall we're in good shape in terms of the COVID situation. I still think that we need to be supporting our local businesses. That may change, as the mayor said earlier. If it gets a little worse, we're going to have to look at doing some things differently. But right now, I think we're in top shape. I want to mention, and please pass this on to your friends that are small business owners. They are our lifeline. That's who we depend upon as a city. And we want to be here to help them. Bree has set up a great webpage for us that disseminates a lot of the programs that are available to our small business owners. And that's at locateInSeminole.org. And it's got great resources. It helps get them into the SBA, the CARES Act, a lot of things that will help them through this. So I saw the program was launched today from the Department of Commerce on Reboot Oklahoma. And we're trying to get the connections into that as well for our small business owners. I know a lot of them have already taken advantage of some of the things, or at least applied for some of the things that are available to them. And we want to be here to help them through a really, really difficult time. Lastly, or next to last, I want to kind of walk through my annual speech about storm shelters. The mayor touched on it a little bit, but you probably are aware that the city of Seminole does not have a public storm shelter. We discussed this several years ago. In fact, we were trying to engineer a place behind what used to be Homeland, now Cash Saver, into the hill there that would be a public storm shelter. As we got further along, it became apparent from some of the other cities that I was talking to that that was a really terrible idea. In fact, many of the communities were actually closing their public storm shelters. A prime example happened in Midwest City when the big tornado that came through Moore and was heading at them, the F5, and Midwest City had their storm shelters open. And many people ran into the parking lot with their cars and parked right on the entry and left dozens and dozens of people stranded on the street trying to get in. And fortunately, the tornado dissipated, but that was a wake-up call to the city of Midwest City that this is not a good plan. We don't have, it's not organized. There's no way to keep people from parking in the entry, and that leaves more people exposed that could have survived had they sheltered in place. So we elected, the city council at that time elected not to have a public storm shelter. So I know as we get into the storm season, you're probably going to be asked several times, hey, where am I supposed to shelter? Isn't the city going to provide a place? And the answer is we do not. The fire station is not a good place to go. There is not a storm shelter there. So just be advised, plan now, know what you're going to do so we can put that in play when and if we ever need the storm shelter. And lastly, I want to say also, welcome Trace. Congratulations. I'm glad you're on board. And we look forward to having you lead us through a lot of situations, and we'll depend on your wisdom. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Steve. City Attorney Brad Carter.
So I just wanted to say that, you know, I've got to really let you guys know that the city manager and the staff, the directors, have been just absolutely, to me, phenomenal in the way they've handled this. Every day that they show up, and I'm telling you this because I see it from the Oklahoma Association of Municipal Attorneys every day. the OML, OMAG, these issues that we see every day coming down the pike from just a variety of sources. Every time these guys go to work every morning, there's a new challenge, and it's all related to the COVID. They don't know what they're going to see. And I'll tell you, from a legal standpoint, it's been probably the most challenging time I have ever experienced ever in my practice, because everything's a case of first impression. And who would have thought that not only do we have a declaration of an emergency just in every county in the state, well, but what about every state in the nation? And that's what we've got. So fortunately, we've been able to adapt, and that's a credit to Steve and Sharon and Jay and Aaron and Baker, all those guys. Whether it's telework or alternate work schedules or whatever they're doing, it's all just, it's not just gut reaction. They're following these mountains of guidance that's being issued and having to weed through just tons of material. And, kudos to them. I mean, when they call me or Steve calls me, it's, he's pretty well, we don't have an answer, but he's already got an idea because he's read a million things on it already. But I just wanted to tell you that the public meetings, the thing that you're experiencing right now through Zoom, this is a topic that has been completely just hashed, not just here, but everywhere in the country. And we're looking, I mean, even this morning, there's a million questions being fielded from all these city attorneys to OML and all these agencies that assist us. How do we do this? How do we do that? What about public participation? How are we going to do, executive sessions? It's just a million different things, and everything is a challenge. And so I just wanted to tell you that you have no idea what these people have, what your employees have done. It's been amazing, and Steve is in the middle of it. Our court proceedings, just so you'll know, have been suspended through May 25th. Received guidance from the Administrative Office of the Courts that really govern all the courts in Oklahoma, all the state courts. And we just emulate, kind of what they have done, because obviously they're kind of the flagship for our court systems. And, Judge Cadenhead has also issued an administrative order. If you get a ticket, you can still, take care of the ticket online. You can do the things that you need to do. If you want a trial or some other type of court proceeding, it's going to be down the road before you get it. And so I imagine there's going to be a time somewhere, well, who knows when, where we're going to be really jammed up on all of those. So just know also that every morning, if there's anybody that's ever prepared for using the computers and Skype and all of that, it's Ed Cadenhead, because every morning he uses Skype to do the initial appearances for the people that have been arrested overnight. And but kudos to the police and Ed, because we have refrained from having to, to do that. They've usually tried to let people go on OR bonds so they wouldn't be, in the jail. And that's been a good thing for us. So with the suspension of all the non-essential services, Steve's had to deal with that, and Jay, because of the everything from, again, the work schedules, the quarantine, sick leave, how do you deal with that? And we're just navigating this by the day based on the guidance that's being pushed down. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that it's been a huge challenge, but your directorates and Steve have been fantastic. And I'm telling you, if anybody's earned their pay, it's those people in the last 30 days or last 2 months, really. So that's all I have.
Mayor, I've got one other thing.
Sure, go ahead.
So you asked me about expectations on revenue. So
yes.
I can tell you that coming into the end of the fiscal year, I would expect it might end up slightly down I think there may have been a little bit of a false bump because of emptying all the Walmart shelves, but I don't expect that is going to be a permanent improvement. So what I've asked my department heads to do is to give me a 10% reduction across the board in their departments. This is a preemptive planning tool. It is not because any signs are showing right now, but if the projected unemployment numbers become fact, then we'll have to definitely look at trimming some of the things that we need to do. But we're running on very, very tight crews already. So none of it is going to be comfortable.
Thank you for that update. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to enter an executive session. The executive session would be consideration and possible action to enter into executive session under Oklahoma Statute 25, Section 307.b.1, discussing the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or resignation of a salaried public officer or employee. Police Chief David Hanson.
Mayor, could I suggest that we go ahead and do a roll call now that Stephanie is on by phone?
Yes, that would be fine. So with that, we would entertain a roll call, Jay.
Okay, do you want a motion on this or just a roll call by itself?
Well, I believe first we need a roll call
Okay. Chris
to
Anson,
ensure who's here.
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here. Here.
Stephanie Lambert,
Jay, I'm here, but I'm going to go ahead and leave the conversation because there's too many ears here.
okay.
If you guys will still have a quorum. Is that all right with you guys? Okay.
Okay, Larry Church,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Bill Watland,
Here.
Corey Crabtree,
Here.
John Kramer,
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here. All right, with that passing, we need to make sure that all of our guests that had joined us are off of the broadcast and that we stop broadcasting across YouTube.